Do you know that 80% of the language used by children is incidental learning? Unlock this powerful learning through the tips given at the end of this video. Hello. Today I'm going to help you to think of more examples to encourage overhearing and to develop incidental learning in the child. Remember, this was our goal last week. So we are continuing this week also. So when we are talking about incidental learning, for example, it's whenever the child is experiencing something, talk about that. For example, if the child is coughing, then you talk about cough. Oh dear, you're coughing. Oh, you got bad cough. Hope you're not getting sore throat. What did you eat that you're coughing? So the new word is introduced to the child. When the child is sneezing, you say, oh, you sneezed again. So many times you're sneezing. Are you feeling cold? So you are introducing a new word, sneeze. Then you say, I can't remember where I kept my keys. Can you help me to find the keys? I am so forgetful. So you are introducing forgetful. And this incidental language can be taught through overhearing. How? For example, you're having meals together or sitting together as a family and you're talking to your spouse, but your child is not listening to your conversation. So how will you draw him into your conversation? Suppose you tell the child, did you hear what Papa saying? Papa said, we've got an invitation to a wedding. Do you want to go for the wedding? And this way, the child says something or asks something, where wedding? Ask Papa, I don't know. So you are encouraging a conversation between the child and the father, but at the same time helping him to learn incidental language. Coming to receptive language goals, the child should be able to understand two adjectives with a noun. For example, when you're playing with the blocks, you can say, I want big red block. Say it only once and don't break. Don't say big red block. No, I want a big red block. So the child should be able to listen to it and understand only once and then give you the big red block. Same way if you're playing with cards, then you can say throw 2 green cards and just wait till the child is doing that. If the child is doing wrong action, if the child does not remember 2 adjectives, then don't tell the child immediately and ask, what did you hear? What did I say? And then help the child to remember. If the child does not remember, repeat the whole sentence again. Coming to expressive language goals, your child should be able to use a lot of language of negatives. For example, the child should use the word not, nothing, none when you're talking or playing with the child. So the child should be able to say, for example, give a box full of child's socks in that and say, can you sort out Papa's socks from this? I want Papa's socks. The child will go through and realize and then he will say, no socks, no Papa's socks. So encourage him to say, none of these is Papa's socks. They are not, Papa's socks are not in this box. So highlight the negative word which you expect the child to learn. The same way you can talk about not. For example, you ask the child, which block do you want now? You hold the blocks and he's making something or she is making something. Then you say, okay, which block do you want? The child says, I want a yellow block. Then give the red block to the child. The child will say, no, red block, I want yellow block. Oh, this is not a yellow block. This is a red block. So you are introducing how to say the same thing in a different sentence also. Coming to expressive language goals, the child should be able to use negatives and other, another, some, few. Along with the negatives, now the child should be saying, I want the other block. Give me another block. Or give me few cards. Or give me some crayons. This is what is expected of the child to use now when the child is talking to you or playing with you. Coming to speech, we continue the same book. Okay, sh and so. Okay, first let's talk about the speech. Why I'm drawing your attention to this book? We are going to talk about this book, and the speech goal of sh and so will spill over to this. Before that, you can do an activity. For example, what can I think of? Yeah, you can make fresh lime juice. Fresh juice. So tell the child, we are going to make fresh lime juice. It's so hot. Let's help me. Now you don't make a fresh lime juice. You will help the child to make it. And you will be giving instructions. Remember that? Now you say, put sugar. Put 2 spoons of sugar. So note the S and sh and so sounds which I'm using in all these sentences. Put 2 spoons of sugar. It's too sweet. Can you squeeze the lemon? Put more sugar. Squeeze some more lemon. Where's the spoon? Stir it. Taste it. That's sweet. It's nice. That's really nice juice. I love fresh lime juice. Okay. So this way you're bringing show and serve both together during the same talk in the same sentence. So how will you spill over to the book? Why I picked up this book is because of your speech goals. This is a book of shapes which we introduced last week. Now, when we talk here, we are more conscious about the sounds of sh and so. So, very circle. Can you see the sun? This is sun. And sun has circle shape. Sun is circular. So every time there's a little highlight on sh, not duration, not prolonging. Okay. Then you go to the next page. You talk about stars. There's so many stars. And the yellow star is shining. The most shining star is a yellow star. Okay. So you can even talk about, can you think of a snack which is triangular in shape? Yes, sandwich. Sandwich is a snack which is triangular in shape. What is pizza? What shape is pizza? Pizza is square. If you like pizza, it's square. So you are talking about a book, pictures in the book, but your speech goal is sh. You're giving so that the child can discriminate, listen, and able to articulate it correctly. Coming to tips, play a lot of games and give what we call, when you give the hints, they should be not in gestures, but in spoken language cues. What are spoken language cues? For example, you are playing treasure hunt with a child. Now if you're working on prepositions, then use more prepositions as auditory cues, spoken language cues. For example, if I'm working on prepositions, I will say, I've hidden it under the bed in the bedroom. Or I've kept it on the lower shelf in the sideboard of the hall. So the child has to listen, comprehend, and find the toy or the thing you have hidden there. Another tip is play. Encourage the child to play, lot of play, and encourage the child to accept failure or lose the game. It doesn't matter. Imbibe the team spirit in the child. We are continuing from the last week. In another tips, what I can tell you is about descriptions. So when you're talking about descriptions, your auditory goal was from the last week. Your auditory goal was 2-3 descriptions of an object, and the child guesses the name of the object. So for example, whatever adjectives or the description you're using, the simple one, the easy one, use last. For example, if you're talking about watermelon, then you tell the child, guess what fruit I bought for you today. Guess what fruit we are eating. When we cut it, it's red from inside and it has black seeds. We can even make juice out of it or cut it and eat it. It's big, round and green from outside. Now the child says watermelon. If it is, the last sentence was easy cue to watermelon. But I used more difficult ones before that. So this way, you are enforcing the auditory comprehension of 2-3 sentences, and do this throughout the day when you are interacting with the child. Okay? So if you have any comments, please write in the comment section and I will get back to you. And if you have missed some episode and you want to go back and watch some other episodes, the link is given below, which will take you to 40-week session plan. Thank you. See you next week.